Namaste students. So, in this session, we will try to discuss how to construct questions based on already developed table of specifications or what we call it as a blueprint for constructing a unit test. So, that particular table reflects the weightage that you are given to the content, the weightage given to the cognitive process objectives and the weightage given to forms of questions, and all these three components are integrated and presented in a very compact form in the table of specification. Now, the next task for the student teacher is to construct questions based on the developed table. Now, prior to developing the question, one needs to understand the kind of questions a teacher has to construct. So, we will try to analyze the importance of constructing various forms of questions. Now, first let us consider the objective type of questions. As the name itself suggests, it is objective type. So, that is the question has to be constructed keeping a content as an objective in mind. The questions on that particular content should also demand a specific responses. So, an objective type questions demands a specific questions and also a specific response to that. So, therefore, this objectivity has to be built in by constructing a right kind of questions, and these objective type of questions are more popular because they can be easily administered, they can be easily scored, and there is objectivity in the scoring and objectivity in terms of its interpretation. So, because of these characteristics and qualities, objective types of tests have become more popular. In objective type test, so there are many forms built into that. The first and foremost is the multiple choice question, so which we call it as MCQ. So, what is the nature of this multiple choice question? Multiple choice question has two major components. The first one we call it as the stem. So, the stem is main important part of multiple choice question. So, which we frame that stem in terms of either by writing a simple question or by writing an incomplete statement. And the second part of the MCQ is the distractors or the choices that we provide. So, if the learner has not learnt it, not analyzed it, not internalized the ideas visualized in the question, so he is likely to choose the wrong responses. So, therefore, it acts as a distractor while constructing multiple choice questions. So, one has to prepare a stem or the question followed by multiple choices. Multiple choice questions will have 4 choices, so that the chance of guessing is only limited to 25%. So, therefore, if we increase the number of distractors, to that extent we can go on reducing the guessing factor, but there is a challenge for the test constructor to create distractors as number of choices as designed. And it is not that one question will have 5 choices, another will have 6, another will have 4, another will have 2. So, these kinds of variations cannot be seen. So, they need to be uniform. So, therefore, it is accepted that to have 4 multiple choices for a multiple choice question. So, therefore, when you construct MCQ, first ensure that you are in a position to create or develop appropriate choices, 4 choices at least, so that are required for making this question more meaningful. And it is also suggested that you cannot use all the above, none of these as one of the choices for all your multiple choice questions. These has to be used very rarely. When you think this particular question is very essential, and this is going to make a distinction between the learners, only then it has to be used very sparingly. Otherwise, usage of this quite oftenly to be discouraged. The other form of objective type question is the fill in the blanks type questions, or it is also called as supply type questions, where this question has an incomplete statement, where that incomplete part of the statement has to be supplied by the learner by reading the statements or by reading the sentences. So, therefore, he has to supply the information based on his learning, based on his memory, and collecting it and putting it in the right format. So, therefore, this becomes a fill in the blanks type of questions. Another form of objective type question is matching type questions, where in the matching type questions, as you have been aware of, it will have two columns, column A and column B. So, in column A, the questioning part or the phrases are listed out, and in column B the responses are given, but not in the same order, but they have been placed randomly. And in the matching type, we insist that if the column A has 5 items, in column B the responses should be more than 5. So, we insist that either it should be 6, 7 or 8. If more choices are given in column B, then there is a scope for the child to make a decision of the right choice there. So, if column A also has got 5 items, column B also has got 5 items, then he can do by guessing also matching can occur. So, it is in these kinds of objective type questions, that is using MCQ, using completion type, using matching type, one can think of constructing the objective type test also. So, within this objective type, even sometimes we can also include analogies, yes or no statements or true or false statements under objective types statements. So, these type of whatever the types you are going to use under objective type, the questions must be very specific, and these specific questions has got only one specific responses. So, thereby it makes them to be more objective type. So, we go to the other forms of questions, so which we usually call them as short answer type questions. As the name itself suggests, so this type of questions require the answer in very short sentences or in 1 or 2 sentences only. So, it does not require an elaborate explanations or elaborate justifications for the answers that is requested by the question itself. So, usually these short answer questions are constructed for 2 marks. Sometimes even within the short answer question itself, we can prepare very short answer questions, or it is called as VSA, very short answer question, where this type of questions demands the responses in only one phrase. So, it does not require the response in sentence form. So, this distinction you should be able to visualize, and based on this you must be in a position to categorize your kinds of question. And the third type of questions that we are insisting is the essay type of questions, or it is also known as the longer answers. So, where this questions demands the learner to show his understanding of the entire learning theme that has been questioned in the given question. So, this enables the learner's clear understanding, his ability to express his understanding through using varieties of words and sentences, making interlinking between the ideas, providing logic into that, and sequencing those ideas and putting it meaningfully and also in a very presentable form is what is to be seen in a essay type of questions. And this usually these kind of questions requires answers in 5 or 6 or 7 sentences, depending upon the nature of questions. Depending on the amount of answers or responses one is to provide for the answer and the kind of weightage that we give to the questions. So, we can classify the questions either as short answer type or as an essay type of questions. So, after having visualized the different types of questions and their purposes and when they have to be used, so you can also think of what kind of questions you are going to prepare. If you are using only what, when, where, so these type of questions we call it as lower order thinking questions, LOT. So, this only stimulate the lower level of thinking. So, that means in the cognitive process objectives you can say that the learner is forced to move from remembering level to understanding level, and it does not go beyond that understanding level. Whereas, if you are going for asking higher order question, which is hot question, so that is in terms of making the learner to think at the highest levels. So, in terms of posing why type questions and how type of questions. So, this type of questions makes the learner to give reasons. So, give justifications, give clarification, give description of his understanding by analyzing the phenomena, by synthesizing the ideas and making the ideas very clear to us. So, therefore, it is desirable that we are going to prepare both lower order question and also higher order level of questions, and imbibing all these kinds of questions, all kinds of forms of questions to be integrated into your table of specifications. So, based on the number of questions that you have been already fixed in the table of specification, you are going to frame the questions accordingly, whether it is maybe an objective type, or it is going to be a short answer type, or it is going to be an essay type. So, when these are going to be written down, so you need to adopt a particular suitable format which gives you an idea or indication to say which type of questions under which objective, which forms of question, and testing which content part of it can be visualized. Now, we look into the format that you can use it for developing the questions based on your table of specification. So, this is the format one can use it for developing any questions. So, this format indicates the unit that you have taken up. Then once all these basic informations are provided, then based upon your table of specification, you are going to write which is the subunit on which you are going to construct a question. For example, imagine that you are going to construct a question on subunit 1. Under the subunit 1, first and foremost, as you have mentioned in the table of specification, if you have mentioned the category of knowledge on which you are going to construct question, so you can specify what kind of knowledge you are going to test in this question. So, these are the 4 categories of knowledge that we have in any subject, and as a teacher, through the help of your content analysis, you must be and you are in a position to say which category of knowledge it belongs to. So, once you specify the content area and the category of knowledge that is you are going to test should be specified here, and then you are going to say under which the cognitive process objectives you are constructing this particular question. So, these are the 6 dimensions that we have. So, in the table of specification you might have clubbed all these 3: analysis, evaluation, creativity as higher order thinking questions. So, you have the 4 categories have been there. So, you can say which is the objective using the type of knowledge that you are selecting, you are going to test it. So, once you select the objective here, if it is a remembering, then you are going to say what is the specification for this remembrance, or which is the action verb under which this questions can give us the expected result. So, if I am taking remembering, my action verb can be, so it is recalling, of the learned knowledge or recognizing the given ideas, or even it can be listing, or even it can be labeling, or it can be defining. So, etc. You can select any one of the action verb that you want to test, and that is tested keeping the knowledge as the base, and through that question you are trying to see whether this cognitive objective has been attained or not. So, once this selection of knowledge, its specific area is selected, the specific area of objective is selected, and the specification of that particular question in terms of action verbs or intended action learning outcome that you want to see is visualized by writing the specific action verbs there. Based on these factors, based on your own experiences that you have gained through your teacher training programs or by teaching to the students, you must be in a position to decide about the difficulty level of the questions. So, based on those, so you must be able to say whether the questions that you are going to construct is whether it is easy or it is average or it is difficult. Okay. So, you have to say what will be the nature of difficulty of your item that you are trying to construct. Then once the level of the difficulty is fixed, you are going to say what is the time required for giving responses to this question. So, if it is an easy question, I may take less than 1 minute to answer the given question. If it is an average question, I may take 2 to 3 minutes to answer that particular question. If it is a very difficult questions or difficult questions in general, I may take more than 3 minutes. So, depending upon the time taken or the likely time that student is going to be consuming for responding to your question, based on those you can mention the time required in terms of minutes. So, you should also consider the time factor of the kind of questions that you are posing and the time required for the respondent to respond to your question. So, once all these specifications are fixed, so we are translating that specifications which are given in numbers into actual actions here in this particular format. So, once these parameters are fixed, now your task is to write the questions. Another important form that you have to consider is forms of questions you are going to adopt. So, it is this forms of question which decides, which tells you this whether the question is trying to test all the above said factors or not. So, usually in unit test construction we use only 3 types of questions widely used. So, one is the objective type. So, within objective type, so we use MCQ or we use completion type or we use matching type. Apart from objective type, we are also using the short answer type and long answer type questions, or it is also known as essay type of questions. So, these any one of these type of question has to be chosen, and you are in a better position looking into the content, looking into the objectives. So, you can select appropriate forms of questions depending upon its purposes and its characteristics. If I decide the correct particular forms, so I must give a particular instructions for the students to answer this question. For example, if I give a multiple choice questions, it must follow an instruction like the following are a multiple choice questions. Each question has 4 choices. Select the most appropriate choice and choose that choice by encircling the corresponding letter or by putting a tick mark against that particular phrase or by writing the appropriate letter in the given box. So, the instructions will enable the learner to know what type of question is this and how he is supposed to respond to that particular question. If it is a matching type question, my instruction is match the column A factors with column B with the given conditions as the relationship. So, therefore, my questions will have a different instruction to be given to the respondent, and that instruction needs to be followed. Similarly, for short answer type, my instruction will be answer the following questions in 1 or 2 sentences. For essay type of questions, my instruction would be answer the following questions in 5 to 6 or in less than 300 words or within 1 page. So, this becomes my instructions with regard to a particular question. So, therefore, writing instructions becomes very essential. So, once the instructions are written, now the exact form of writing the questions comes into picture. So, therefore, you need to write the exact questions that you want to pose for the learners. So, that is indicated in terms of item or question number. So, you write the item or question number, like what is the formula for calculating area of triangle. So, I can provide the choices as A is equal to half into pH, B A is equal to B into H, and C A is equal to 2BH, and D A is equal to BH square. So, if it is a multiple choice, I have to write the choices itself. If I write this as a short answer type question, then I need not write the choices. So, once based on the forms of questions you are decided to write, you write those kinds of questions and accordingly provide all the necessary instructions. It is also expected that constructor to provide the correct responses also, okay, so that this will help him to prepare the marking scheme, scoring scheme for evaluating the responses. So, therefore, it is necessitated that as you construct the question, you should also write the correct response. So, in case of this multiple choice question, it becomes my duty to provide the key for the following question. So, that key in a multiple choice questions can be indicated right side corner of your sheet, and you can say A is my key here. If it is a short answer question, then I have to write the exact answer in sentences only. If it is an essay type of question, then I can write the major key points or the key value points of the responses in phrased manners. In phrases I can quote, I did not write complete essay here. I can put in bullet points and say if these points are reflected in the passage, in the responses given by the respondent, accordingly I can assign the values to them. If it is a short answer question, the value point it should must be 2. So, therefore, I should say whether my questions that I am constructing has adequate value point inbuilt into it or not. If it is an objective type questions, so there is no question of writing any responses anything, but I need to give the correct choices in the given format. So, once the questions of these kinds are prepared for each item, if this procedure is followed, then you will be in a better position to say, so on what subunit, what type of questions you have constructed, and later on you can reflect upon the number of questions you have constructed and see whether these questions and the table of specifications are matching or not. The weightage that you have decided in terms of content, in terms of process objectives, and in terms of the forms of questions are matching or not. So, my questions and the table of specification should have one-to-one correspondence, and in my question paper, if it is given to anybody, they must be able to judge and see whether adequate weightage is given to all aspects of unit test or not. So, if these factors are considered in constructing a unit test, and then we call that as a balanced question paper. So, as it has been administered in regular classroom conditions, you can reassemble all these items which you have constructed into a pattern, like section A will have only multiple choice, section B can have only short answer type, and section C can have only essay type of question. So, in that context, so knowing the purpose of questions, the various forms of questions, and each purposes of each type of questions must be very essential, and a student teachers expected to acquire the skill of constructing a good questions also. So, therefore, questions becomes a very crucial tool for us for assessment. If I look at it for the learning sake, I say these questions are gateways for knowledge. So, therefore, my way of posing questions, asking questions and using it for testing purposes becomes very crucial, and as a student teacher and would be a professional teacher, acquiring the skills of constructing a good question, posing a good question becomes very imperative. So, in this session, so we have discussed about the types of questions and how these types of questions are to be constructed, keeping the table of specification in mind, and based on those factors how a question paper is developed and how it is to be used for the assessment procedures. Okay. So, with this we end this session. Thank you.